Hello, everyone, and here we have a news story. Before we get to that, I want to ask you to subscribe, like, and be sure to write comments in order to participate in the development of the community. Write how to improve my community, current topics in the stories you are interested in, and much more. I read and listen to all the comments. People write me stories by mail from different countries. There are problems with translation. I apologize for this. I will work on it and try to fix these errors. I want to thank everyone for their support and the people who wrote to me by mail. Broadcast news stories. New videos on my channel are published once every 2 days at 7 p.m. Don't forget to put a bell in order not to miss new videos. And now let's go! Hello, I want to tell you my story. In 2015, I came to work in the capital. I found a job and a place to live, sort of settled in, and everything started to get better. I was 30 years old at the time. Before that, I had one marriage. I had no children. My previous wife couldn't get pregnant. I met my new future wife here in the capital. I was at work at the time. I worked as a bus driver. She was 27 years old. She was also from another region. In general, love broke out between us and so on. We started living together without hesitation. She had children from her first marriage. Twins, a boy and a girl. They were both 9 years old. At that time, the children were visiting their grandmother in the South. She came here because her father called her and found a job. She also wanted to try to start a new life because there was no development where she lived. To be honest, I have a similar situation. In general, we started living together in my rented apartment. Everything was fine, but sometimes she received strange calls. She said that they were her friend. But she changed the number and everything seemed to be getting better. As a result, I calmed down a little bit. Well, then she didn't come back from work and didn't show up until the next day. She hasn't answered the phone all this time. The next day, I met her at work and asked what happened. She replied that she had been to her friend's and her phone was dead. But I got angry and we had a fight. I said it was a stupid thing to do. It needed to warn me because I was worried. I communicated well with her father. We worked in the same company. At that time, I didn't really want to build a relationship with her, but she managed to convince me otherwise. Something drew me to her. In general, we lived in my rented apartment for years. She didn't want to cook. She said she didn't want to do it in the shared kitchen. By the way, I forgot to say we had our own room and shower, and the kitchen was shared. After that, I rented an apartment with my own kitchen. She was a beautiful girl and always bragged about her beauty. She liked to always be the center of attention. In general, a separate kitchen did not help, and she still did not cook. We began to have disagreements. She spent too much time on her beauty. We started fighting every day. She started quarrels even over trifles. I thought that when we took the children to our place, everything would be fine. After a while, my friends from my hometown came to us. I helped them with their work and we had a party and got really drunk. After that, she made a big scandal and was very angry with me. Then she called me by another name. That's my friend's name. At that moment, I had a bad feeling. The mobile connection was registered to me and I ordered a printout of the calls. As it turned out, my wife communicated with my friend more than with me. I had a serious conversation with her and she said that my friend had fallen in love with her. He even suggested that she leave me for him. She decided to use it to find out more about me. Because he was in love with her, he told her every step I took and all my secrets. She swore to me that they had nothing in terms of intimacy. We said goodbye to my friend in a good way and he left. By the way, he was a good man and she had male solidarity. I wasn't at a loss as to why he did that. In short, I thought it was all over. We even stopped living together within a month, and then it's her birthday and I decided to go congratulate her. I will not tighten the story. In the end, we reconciled and a week later, it turned out that she was pregnant. Kinda got pregnant by me, judging by the timing. By the way, before that, she and I also couldn't conceive a child for a long time. That's why we didn't use protection and always had sex without a condom. In general, I didn't even think about it and didn't ask who the father was. I was sure that she got pregnant from me. We decided to keep the baby and my joy knew no bounds. Although there were some doubts inside me until a beautiful daughter was born. She was my copy. After that, we moved the children and rented a 3-room apartment. My wife took out a loan for the car at the time when we were in a quarrel. But I convinced her not to buy a car and we both invested in the business. In general, things did not go well and the business began to make losses. Plus, I had to support 3 children. The older children were engaged in ballroom dancing. In general, a lot of money was spent. I suggested to my wife to suspend ballroom dancing classes for a while we have a difficult period. So that you understand, 3 children, a rented apartment, and loans, despite the fact that I worked alone. My wife went to work after a 3-year decree, but she was reduced. After a while, she got a job as a courier, and I had to give her my car for work. But it was very inconvenient for me to get to my job, and I freaked out and bought myself another car. At the same time, I got into even more debt. As a result, 2 new concerns were added: maintenance of 2 cars. But I thought my wife started working and it would get easier. But I was wrong because all her money went into dancing. In general, I started working overtime 7 days a week. We started seeing each other very rarely, and there was almost no time for personal life. After a while, our mother-in-law arrived to help us to babysit. Because we were both immersed in our work, her father took over our loan so that we could get a mortgage. My wife started having back problems. We had an Arab living on the ground floor. He was a chiropractor. Our whole house went to him for treatment. He seems to have proven himself well. He charged a little money for the reception, but I had a bad feeling about it again. I decided to take a printout of the calls for the last month again. I found a number there that was called very often. After that, I called my wife and asked her for the number of the manual therapist. She started telling me that I had bad thoughts and was paranoid. In the end, she gave me the number, but when I called, no one answered. But later, a girl called me back from this number. As it turned out, it was my wife's friend. I began to doubt even more and couldn't find a place for myself. After a while, she brought me to such a state that I installed a wiretap in her car. With the help of this wiretap, I found out about all her shady dealings. My suspicions have been fully confirmed. I was shocked by this turn of events. When I started a showdown, my wife said that I had brought her to such a state that she cheated on me. By the way, she infected me with venereal disease. I forgot to mention it. In general, there was no remorse in her words. She said I should understand her. I was stunned. I was offended because while I was working overtime, she was having sex with an Arab. I can't put my disgust for her into words. In general, we have separated and lived separately. I don't want anything to do with her. I help my child as much as I can. But for some reason, I feel sorry for her. I worry about how she will cope with 3 children. Although I understand that there is no way back. Living together and starting from scratch is tantamount to self-destruction. For 2 months, she had sex with this Arab. It goes beyond all bounds. Her nature is such, whatever happens, she looks for the guilty everywhere. She constantly thought that I was cheating on her, but only with all my desire. I had no time to cheat on her. I never once reproached about her children, although their father did not help at all and did not pay alimony. It looks like she hid something about her past marriage. She told me that she wanted to understand that feeling when you cheating. It seems to me that she is insane, and I made the right choice. If you like the story, subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up, so as not to miss new videos. Now let's move on to the opinion of the author of the channel. The opinion of the author of the channel. According to tradition, I want to wish strength and patience to our hero. To be honest, in my practice, there are many stories about girls who cheat with doctors, coaches, and so on. Therefore, men, be vigilant and careful. You made the right choice 100%. Start a new life and don't forget about your child. I hope after a while you will find yourself a worthy soulmate. And don't worry about your ex-wife. She deserved to be punished. If you have watched to the end, I want to say thank you very much. I love you all. Thank you for joining me on this exciting journey of love, betrayal, and redemption. I appreciate your support and encourage you to subscribe, like, and share this story. Your participation and feedback are invaluable for shaping our content and promoting mutual understanding and community growth. Until we meet again.